You know those moments when you hear a piece of news and everything just stops for a second? That's exactly how I felt when I read that Sam Rivers, yes, the bassist from Limp Bizkit, has passed away. Only 48 years old, way too young. It's shocking. It's sad. And honestly, it just feels unfair. If you've followed rock or nu metal over the years, you know who Sam Rivers was. He wasn't just another name in a band. He was the heartbeat of one of the biggest rock groups of the late 90s and early 2000s. And now, that heartbeat has gone silent. But before we get too far, let's take a breath and talk about why this story has hit so many people so hard. Today, we're going to go through Sam Rivers' life, his rise, his struggles, his comeback, and the heartbreaking news of his death. We'll clear up the rumors, share some details that most fans don't know, and celebrate what made him so special. And trust me, there are some things here that might surprise you, even if you've been following Limp Bizkit since day one. So let's start at the beginning. Sam Rivers was born on September 2nd, 1977, in Jacksonville, Florida. From a young age, music was in his blood. Believe it or not, the first instrument he ever learned to play wasn't the bass guitar. It was the tuba. Yeah, that deep brass sound he played in school ended up shaping the way he approached the bass later on. He understood rhythm and depth before he ever picked up a four-string. Fast forward to his teenage years. He meets Fred Durst and John Otto, two other Jacksonville guys obsessed with music. Together, they formed what would become Limp Bizkit in 1994. At first, it was just local shows, underground crowds, and tiny stages, but there was something different about them. They mixed metal, hip-hop, and raw emotion in a way nobody else was doing at the time. Sam's bass was a huge part of that. It wasn't just background noise. It was thick, groovy, aggressive, the kind of sound that you felt in your chest. He had this way of locking in with the drums that made every song move. If you listen to tracks like Break Stuff or Nookie, that energy underneath the vocals, that's Sam. Limp Bizkit exploded in the late 90s. Their albums Significant Other and Chocolate Starfish and the Hot Dog Flavored Water weren't just hits. They became anthems for an entire generation. By 2000, the band was selling out arenas all over the world, and through all of it, Sam stood quietly on stage, letting his bass do the talking. He wasn't flashy, he wasn't loud, but when that groove kicked in, you couldn't ignore him. Even critics who weren't into Limp Bizkit's wild image admitted one thing: Sam Rivers could play. He was named Best Rock Bass Player at the Gibson Awards in 2000. That's how much respect he had within the music world. But behind all the success, there was a darker side. Years of touring, the pressure of fame, and the lifestyle that came with it took a toll. By the mid-2000s, Sam began dealing with health problems. He started to suffer from liver disease, the kind caused by years of heavy drinking. It got so bad that he eventually had to step away from the band. In 2015, fans noticed he wasn't touring with Limp Bizkit anymore. At first, people thought it was because of back problems. That's what the band said publicly. But later, Sam opened up and told the truth. He said, "I got liver disease from excessive drinking. I had to leave Limp Bizkit in 2015 because I felt so horrible." Imagine having to give up something you love because your own body won't let you keep going. That's what he was facing. He underwent a liver transplant, a long, painful, and risky process. But Sam fought hard. He focused on recovery, on changing his life, and on finding a way back to the music that had given him everything. And after a few years, he did. In 2018, Sam Rivers rejoined Limp Bizkit. Fans were thrilled. Seeing him back on stage, smiling, playing again. It was like seeing an old friend recover and return home. He looked healthier. He looked happy. He was back doing what he loved most. That's what made the news of his death in October 2025 so painful. On October 18th, Limp Bizkit announced that Sam had passed away at just 48 years old. They didn't give a cause of death, and out of respect, most media outlets didn't speculate too much. But we do know that Sam had a long battle with liver disease, and even though he had a transplant, the complications never fully went away. The band's statement was short but emotional. They wrote, "Today we lost our brother, our bandmate, our heartbeat." They called him pure magic. Those words say everything. Because Sam wasn't just part of the band, he was the foundation. Every song, every live show, every groove, his bass was what tied it all together.
Since the announcement, tributes have poured in from everywhere. Fans, musicians, producers, and even artists from completely different genres. Everyone talked about how kind he was, how grounded he stayed despite the fame, and how much his sound influenced modern rock. Now, let's pause for a second and clear up some of the confusion that's been going around online. A lot of rumors. Started almost immediately. Some people said he died of alcohol, poisoning. Others claimed he'd left the band years ago and was no longer part of Limp Bizkit, but none of that is true. The truth is simple. The band hasn't released an official cause of death. Yes, Sam struggled with liver disease, but that doesn't mean alcohol directly caused his death. And yes, he did step away for health reasons. But he came back. He was with Limp Bizkit again from 2018 right up until he passed. He never really left. It's hard when a story like this breaks, because people online want answers right away. But sometimes the respectful thing to do is to wait, to listen, and to honor the person for who they were instead of guessing how they died. That's what the fans have been doing, sharing memories, photos, concert clips, and old interviews instead of spreading rumors. Speaking of memories, did you know Sam's very last Instagram post was just hours before the news came out? He posted a photo celebrating the 25th anniversary of chocolate starfish and the hot dog-flavored water. His caption said, "Nothing but love." Those were his final words to fans. Looking back, it's haunting and beautiful at the same time, and it's so Sam. Short, heartfelt, and positive. He never complained publicly. He never sought attention for his illness. He just kept living with love, right until the end. When you think about Sam Rivers, you think about that quiet strength. He wasn't the frontman yelling into the mic or jumping off speakers, was the guy holding everything together in the background. The steady pulse you could count on. That kind of energy doesn't always get celebrated enough, but without it, no band works. Even music experts agree. Critics and fellow musicians have said that Sam's bass lines defined the new metal sound of the late 90s. That heavy groove, that rhythm that made you want to move, that was him. And it wasn't just technique, it was emotion. Every note felt intentional. That's why this loss feels so big, 'cause it's not just about losing a musician. It's about losing someone who shaped the sound of an era. He helped build something millions of people still listen to today, and here's something else many people don't know. After stepping back for his health, Sam also worked behind the scenes with other musicians. He produced for local Florida bands and mentored young bassists. He didn't announce it or make it a headline. He just helped quietly. That's who he was. It's rare to see someone so talented be that. Humble. Most people in his position would have used it for fame or press. Sam just wanted to make good music and lift others up, and here's another touching detail. Even during his recovery, when he couldn't play live, Sam never stopped creating. He'd record ideas from home, little bass grooves, song fragments, things he hoped to develop later. Some of those recordings might eventually be released. The band hasn't said yet, but fans are already asking for a tribute album or a special release of his unreleased work. That would be a beautiful way to keep his legacy alive. His story also reminds us of something important. Fame doesn't protect you from struggle. Even when everything Looks perfect on the outside. The tours, the awards, the fame. You never know what someone is dealing with privately. Sam's honesty about his liver disease opened up a conversation about health, addiction, and recovery in the rock world. He didn't hide from it. He admitted his mistakes, fixed them, and tried to do better. That kind of courage deserves respect. Now, looking forward, there are already talks that Limp Bizkit might do something special to honor Sam. Maybe it will be a tribute concert, a one-night-only event filled with energy, nostalgia, and emotion. You can almost picture it. Fans gathered from all over the world, the lights dimming, and Fred Durst walking on stage to say a few heartfelt words before launching into a song that defined a generation. It wouldn't just be a performance, it would be a moment of connection, a way to celebrate Sam's incredible talent and the impact he had on both the band and the people who grew up with their music. Others are whispering about the possibility of a re-release of classic tracks, maybe a remastered version of Significant Other or Chocolate Starfish and the Hot Dog Flavored. Water that includes unseen footage, studio takes, and interviews that show Sam in his element. Fans crave that kind of authenticity, those raw glimpses of who he really was behind the music. To see him laughing between takes, laying down a bass line that changed the direction of a song, or sharing creative moments with the band, that would be priceless. It would be more than nostalgia. It would be a way of preserving his artistry forever. And then, of course, there's the idea of a documentary. Imagine something that goes beyond the fame and chaos. Something that truly explores Sam's story, his beginnings, his influences, his role in shaping Limp Bizkit's unique sound, and the quieter side of his life that most people never got to see. A film like that could remind everyone that behind the swagger and the noise was a musician who cared deeply about his craft. It could inspire new generations to pick up an instrument, to chase a dream, or to find their own voice in a world that often tries to drown it out. Whatever it ends up being, a concert, a re-release, a documentary, or maybe all of the above, fans are ready. They're ready to celebrate him, to remember what he gave to the music world, and to keep his spirit alive through every song, every riff, and every beat. The love that's pouring out online right now isn't just grief, it's gratitude. It's people saying thank you. Thank you for the soundtrack to our teenage years. Thank you for the energy that got us through hard times. Thank you for being part of something that still means so much. And that's the part that gives me a little bit of hope in the middle of all this sadness. Because even though loss feels heavy, legacy feels light. It shines. It's the reminder that music doesn't die, and neither do the people who make it with passion and honesty. Sam's story isn't ending. It's transforming into something that will keep echoing, through speakers, through hearts, through time, because Sam's story doesn't end. Here, every time someone listens to Break, Stuff, or My Way, or Rollin', they'll still hear him. That low rumble underneath the song, that's Sam Rivers. Still alive through his music. It's strange, isn't it? How someone can leave, yet still feel so present. That's the magic of art. It stays when we don't. Now that you know the full story, his rise, his struggles, his comeback, and his final goodbye, I want to ask you something. What's the first memory that comes to mind when you think of Sam Rivers? Was it seeing Limp Bizkit live? Was it hearing one of their songs on the radio for the first time? Or maybe just realizing how powerful his bass lines were when you really listened closely? Whatever it is, share it in the comments. Let's fill that space with love, not gossip. Let's make sure the memory of Sam Rivers is one of music, connection, and heart. And before you go, if you love stories like this, real, emotional, behind-the-music stories, then stick around. I've got another video coming up soon about another musician who faced a life-changing illness and came back stronger than ever. You won't want to miss it. If this video touched you, please like it, share it with your friends, and subscribe for more. It really helps keep these stories alive and supports the channel so I can keep making content like this. Thank you so much for watching. and for taking the time to remember someone who gave so much to music. Sam Rivers may be gone, but his sound, his groove, and his love for the art will always stay with us. As he said in his last post, "Nothing but love." Rest in peace, Sam Rivers. Your music never ends.